This is the beginning of an essay by a Chinese AI product manager that recently went viral. I've just finished reading this letter, or better, listening, because I translated it and turned it into audio. So I was listening to this letter, and I think it's really brilliant, and it deserves to reach the Western product people. First of all, kudos to this product manager that wrote a 75,000 word letter before leaving the company, reflecting on their experience and what were the key areas for improvement. So 75,000 words in many of the PDF renderings I found corresponds to a little bit over 100 pages. So imagine the level of zeal of this employee. Even paid employees many times wouldn't use their energy to write such a thorough reflection, much less someone that it's about to leave a company. So I think this just reveals the level of zeal and that this person had. And kudos to that. I think it's really inspiring to see someone wanting to share her experience with the world. She explicitly mentions that she hopes this can benefit her colleagues and improve future generations of the product she was working on. So I think that's really admirable. And if I was hiring someone, these kinds of traits, this self-driven capacity to try to improve something, it's something definitely I would be on the lookout for. So I tried to find this text or comments on YouTube and Western media, and I wasn't successful. Then I went to WeChat and I found a PDF with the full original text. I spent so much time trying to find the right tools that would translate this full document, but it's quite big. And with the images, it's huge. So I split the document. I did many things until I kind of gave up on that PDF version of the full text with all the images, and then went to DeepSeek so that perhaps I would be more lucky in finding the full text. And DeepSeek could find text versions of this post. It found also a GitHub page with the text, but I think it was not comprehensive. And then I finally found what looked like the full text. And then I converted it, and I used a text-to-speech app to be able to listen to it and also make some variations of podcasts so that I try to consolidate my understanding. So I think this is beautiful. And I think this is valuable information for the entire world of tech, not only AI products, but entire tech sector. People that have worked in tech can relate to a higher or lower extent to what she's saying, but I doubt that you will not be able to relate to anything that she's saying, because to a higher degree or to a lower degree, some of the dysfunctions that she writes about, I think, are pervasive across the tech sector. And I realized also, wow, I'm glad that I'm learning Chinese, and I'm eagerly seeking the Chinese perspective on tech, or else perhaps this would pass me by and I wouldn't even notice. If it's not extensively available on Western media, perhaps this pearl would pass me by. So I want to bring this awareness for this content to the Western world. So 3 reasons that make this, in my view, a super important document. First is a deep reflection on the dysfunctions of tech development and the workplace culture, and even the clash between generations in building tech. Second, I think it fits quite nicely within my framework, my 5 Oases framework for purposeful product development, because it touches on the 5 Oases. It touches on the mission aspect. It clearly highlights what missionaries look like. It talks about how the Mothership culture deeply affects the product development. It touches on the principles that are guiding product development, or what I call Manifesto. It touches on the matter, which is what is being tracked and to what extent that improves the product or not. So it fits quite nicely within my framework for what I think are important ingredients to have a purposeful tech product. The only thing that I thought that perhaps wouldn't be so fitting is that within my framework and in my book, Purposeful Product Management and Development, Becoming Mission-Led, I focus on big world problems like ending hunger or climate change. So if you think about the UN Sustainable Goals, I focus the concept of mission-led also in solving specific types of problems, and these are serious world problems. And this, at first glance, would seem like kind of a corporate office productivity tool and not much related to a big world problem. But upon further reflection, I realized that actually perhaps one of the issues of the entire product is that it was not framed as a mission that addresses a big world problem. If, for example, they would have framed this product as a tool for the future of work to improve the quality of life of workers, that's a big world problem, right? That's where most people spend their lives, at work. So if there was this mission actually related to a serious world problem needs solving that would align the entire organization towards something bigger than the organization, perhaps all the conflicts that we see and all the mission drifts and contradictions wouldn't happen. So it's actually interesting that what I thought would perhaps be the weakest link on the application of my framework actually turns out to be potentially the thing that could solve this situation from the highest level possible. So yeah, second was this application of my framework that I could see neatly all the 5 oases being called for reflection. And then finally, but not less important, I think that this just highlights that at this point, there seems to be a global concern from tech people regarding issues like burnout, dysfunctional management. And it's interesting because perhaps some people in the West would think that Chinese companies would kind of dismiss this criticism and even that employees wouldn't dare to write this type of essay. But actually, the outcome of this essay is that the Alibaba Group fired the CEO of DingTalk. And this perhaps would make some people in the West question their beliefs and assumptions about China, because if this happened in an American company, who do you think would get fired? I mean, she was leaving anyways, but do you think that the owner of a big group of an American company would fire the CEO due to reading this comprehensive essay on the dysfunctions of the company? I'm not sure. I'm not sure that even in Europe that would happen. And I think that Europe has a deeper respect for employees and these issues. But so I think it could be also an eye opener about the preconceptions that people may have regarding China and the Chinese environment. But above all, like an expression of all the concerns. So actually, let's make it a 4th point. So 3 is that it reveals these global concerns that are emerging within tech employees regarding burnout and regarding corporate culture and management, and the tensions between serving users and serving, well, I guess just profit or some targets that don't serve users. And let's make it the 4th point, this challenging perhaps of Western assumptions about what gets to happen at Chinese companies, because this had very impactful consequences that perhaps wouldn't as easily happen in US or Europe. So I really wanted you to be aware that this happened, and that I think that the author of this essay should turn it into a book, because there are product books that are less insightful than this essay that was posted in an internal company website. I think there's much to learn from her experience and from the dysfunctions that she experienced, and hopefully this will be a document highlighting a pivoting moment that we can find ourselves in. Maybe this type of dysfunctions will end in the future if we start documenting them and addressing them and sharing them among colleagues. Perhaps we can collectively realize what's not working and what we don't want for our lives, and start building towards the things we care about and how we want to spend our lives. So if you have the chance, try to find the full original and translate it, and without the images, and when I convert it to audio, is like around 1 hour of listening, and I think it's well worth it. Take care.